start to believe that Muslims are trying to kill me, that this is what all these people are doing. These Muslims are trying to kill me. I'm back home now with all these thoughts, all this anger, and I devised a plan. I could create my own bomb. I was born in California. I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, joined the military when I was 18, had a couple combat tours while I was there. In 2009, I accepted Islam. I now attend a mosque in my hometown in central Indiana.
Tumbuh besar di Amerika dengan paparan Islam yang buruk, membuat seseorang menjadi Islamofobia. Itulah yang terjadi pada mantan tentara Amerika ini. Apalagi, dia terlibat langsung dalam perang di Timur Tengah. Perasaan marah terhadap Islam, selama menjadi tentara, berkobar hingga pensiun.
As a teenager, I got involved in a lot of bad things, drugs, and I ran away from home. When I ran away from home, I ended up going and joining the Marine Corps. Start to believe that Muslims are trying to kill me. So the last time I was injured, what forced me out of the military, we were in Ramadi in 2006, Ramadi, Iraq. And we did a real quick operation on this building. I went up onto the second floor after it was cleared and we were getting ready to leave the building. It's the last thing I remember. There was a huge IED that was underneath the building and it blew straight up and blew me right out the hole. There were so many things that were just compounded in your head that this is what all these people are doing. These Muslims are trying to kill me, you know? And even though I wanted to die, I wanted to hate somebody more. I wanted to hate somebody more. And it was easy because at that time, common enemy. Everybody hates Muslims. So I'm back home now with all these thoughts, all this anger. And I says, there's something that I can do. And I devised a plan. I could create my own bomb. And in the course of 3 years, that's what I did. I built this thing, the bomb.
Cedera telah memaksa Richard untuk pensiun dari tentara. Kembali ke kampung halamannya, dia mencari cara untuk mengebom masjid di dekat rumahnya. Dia melakukan spionase untuk membuat rencananya berhasil.
So there was an Islamic center in my hometown. So I had watched this place before in several different times, not just one, and saw the flow of people on a Friday. And just knowing the behavior of these people and what they're doing. So if I put a bomb here, are they going to find it? There was a bank, I would say probably 2,500 meters away. Plan was to sit over there and wait for the time, just dial it in, just watch it.
Padahal dia tahu itu salah, dan akan tertangkap, tapi pikirannya yang mesum, mengatakan, tindakannya benar. Richard yakin, tujuan perjuangannya juga akan dipuji masyarakat pada akhirnya.
I knew I was going to be caught. I knew I would go to trial because they would execute me. I was good with that. I believed that eventually these same people were going to think of me as a hero because I was right.
Menyulut semangat Richard untuk bertindak ketika putrinya bercerita tentang teman sekelasnya yang beragama Islam. Richard tidak bisa menerima anggota keluarganya berinteraksi dengan umat Islam. Dia berencana pergi ke masjid untuk mencari bukti, untuk menunjukkan kepada putrinya tentang kejahatan Islam. Dari sinilah Richard mulai mengenal Islam. Ketika dia mengetahuinya, hatinya benar-benar terbalik.
My daughter had told me about this Muslim child that she was in school with, and I blew up. So I thought I failed my family. Because I couldn't protect them. I can't protect her at school from these Muslims. You know, after different profanities came out of my mouth and, you know, calling them all kinds of racial slurs, I guess is the best way to put it, I went up into my bedroom. I kind of sat on the bed and I started to cry a little bit. I said, well, you have to find the proof, man. But I didn't have any kind of tangible proof to like show my daughter. I didn't have that. So I had to go get it. Where am I going to get it? The mosque. Where else? I went in there, I met with them, and I introduced myself as somebody who just wants to learn a little bit more about Islam. Not a total lie, but didn't tell them what my real intentions were. It was a Friday. I listened to the sermon, the khutbah, right? And I was like, man, that sounds good. They're just saying that because I'm here. I already know. They probably got people held down in the basement. for propaganda videos. I already know. I mean, these are the things that are going through my mind, right? And then they handed me a Quran, and I was told to take it home, read it, come back when you have questions. I was so happy because in my mind, I felt like I'd just been handed the holy grail of evil. I read it and I went back. I was back a lot. Surprised him because here's this non-Muslim coming in. He's all in here all the time. I've been reading. I got these questions. You said come back and ask you. And after a while, it finally came to me that all religions have some sort of a text. So I'm reading the things in the Quran. And my impression of Islam is the people that have been shooting at me and seeing all the horrible things that they were doing, right? It didn't match. But these people in here in Muncie, Indiana, were actually, I could make examples of things that they were doing that was in the Quran to do. Obviously, the ones who I had gotten my impression of Islam from were a bad example. That's not Islam. So I started to change a little bit. I realized that Islam was really the thing for me through my readings of the Quran and the explanations I got. And I didn't take their word for it. Now, when they would tell me that's what this means, I would go back and I'd research it. So reading the Quran and having the feeling that it is touching me. It is, I'm reading these words, but I'm feeling them too.
Terbukanya hati Richard untuk mengucapkan syahadat disebabkan oleh mimpi aneh yang berulang. Mimpi yang mengajarkan kepadanya arti kemanusiaan sebagaimana yang diajarkan Islam.
The dreams I had with the blood on the paper target. I was on the rifle range and I was shooting a paper target way down there. I was dehumanizing my enemies because they were just target. And I remember one of the last dreams I had was this paper target started bleeding. I went down and wiped it off. It kept bleeding and kept bleeding and bleeding. And it was at that point I decided I need to be a Muslim because now I see my humanity is coming back. And I saw Islam and the teachings from Allah and the examples given by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It gives me something. It gives me an understanding of who, what, when, where, and why. It answered those questions for me, man. And I couldn't have been happier. It was the best decision I've made as an adult.